Welcome everyone, Christine here with Hashut's Gunpowder Units mod for Total War Warhammer 3 Immortal Empires. This mod adds a whole bunch of units. So you have various gunpowder units, infantry units, you have tanks, including something that looks like an apocalypse tank, or would fit very well within that particular design of an apocalypse tank. And then we have trains as well. Yes, indeed. Chaos Dwarf trains. Iron demons, iron engines, and we also even have several mount options over here as either tanks or an iron demon for infernal castellans over here. And also a tank option for demonsmith sorcerers. So I wonder what happens when I decide to just let everyone fire at the enemy, fire at will. Well, it's not gonna be pretty over here for Tretch, though surprisingly, this mod does seem a lot more balanced than you might think it is. Because if you look at the units individually, you might think, oh, they all have great leadership, great armor, so they're gonna do really well in auto-resolve. Yes, that is true. But it's more of a glass cannon type situation than you might think. So, unleash everything at once. So let's see what happens over here. Boom. That is a nuclear weapon. And storm vermin are just going to cease to exist. Gotta be careful though with some of that stuff, right? Because obviously you gotta be a bit careful. In terms of handling that situation. But yeah, these things are really strong in some ways. Though, to be certain, there's also more of a spectacle going on than anything else with regards to these units. So this is the NUKES regiment renown. You only have one of these. It does have a 3-minute cooldown on its reload, a 2-minute reload timer. So you're not just gonna lob nukes all over the place. So let's take a look at what we actually have over here in terms of the individual units. We do have trains. Let's start with that. Why not, right? Start with the train. So we got iron demons with gunners, magma lob. So these are kind of like grenades, I think, or mortars, really. Let's just stop these. Let's try and get a shot off over there. Looks like a mortar. And the trains do have the ability of using more power as an ability. Though some of them are obviously going to be just, you know, better than others. Like, you do have your gunners, and you can even somewhat see the Chaos Dwarves with blunderbusses over there. We have another one with infernal gunners over there. I think they're using the same weapon. We do have a Regiment Renowned version that is the longest train over here. So let's see what this one can do. If it is even going to fire. I do wonder. Let's just stop it. Might be a minimum range situation right there. Or it's just refusing to fire. Okay, so that can indeed happen. You know, gunpowder unit stuff situation right there. Or maybe I'm just not seeing the projectiles because, you know, there's various reasons why you might not see the projectiles. Ah, there we go. So, yeah. There are some mortars. Take a bit of a long time to reload, though. Anyway, so we got various trains. The shorter ones, they're like skirmisher units for the Chaos Dwarves. The longer ones, well, we got Starquake. You know, if we order this to fire, it's not quite a Dreadquake. It's certainly not going to do as much damage as a Dreadquake. But yeah, those are some pretty good mortars right there in that situation. Like, we got Flames of Hashut. Let's see what this one does. Yep, so feels like a mounted flame cannon on a train right there. So, those are the trains in a nutshell. Then we have the tanks. The freaking tanks. Okay, so this is the nuke. It's only got one use, then you gotta reload it. Or actually, that's not the nuke. Sorry, this is the nuke. As I said, Regiment Renown only has a single shot. This is an artillery piece right here. And look at it fly. Yep, that's your artillery piece right there. Over here, we got even more artillery. And your regular tanks, our range can be sometimes difficult. Different projectiles on these things. I do certainly like the Apocalypse tank. That really looks like a tank. Bit too edgy for my taste, but still. Yeah, different tanks, different weapons. I mean, I swear this thing, you could just fit it in the middle of Warhammer 40k as a plasma cannon, and it's like it would fit right in the middle of Warhammer 40k. This one, this is a grad, basically. Like, I'm not even joking. Or a HIMARS, if you will, in a certain sense. Then we have our infantry units, right? So we got sawed shotguns, so Chaos Dwarf gunners. So basically, like Chaos Dwarf warriors with the sawed shotgun. They don't have the shield, but they have the sawed shotguns. Then we have regular shotguns. So these guys, more decent in melee than many of the others. Like, if we look at the trains, they all have like fairly low, like they might have fairly high armor, but and high leadership, but their melee defense is pretty weak. So they're actually going to die very, very quickly in a fight. That's not their purpose is not for you to throw them into the middle of an enemy formation. Then we have like infernal gunners with repeaters. The reason the projectiles are not showing, there's a mod that is recommended with it. Like sometimes it's a bit weird with projectile trails. We do have obsidian shards. Like if we fire these things at Tretch, because why not? We do have snipers too. So flamethrowers, snipers, you name it. Like, instead of just using blunderbusses and infernal guard, you can use snipers. Like, basically, this is a proper Giselle type unit over here. Now, you might be surprised at how much damage Tretch can take over here. So yeah, torpedo, like basically your troll hammer torpedoes over there, though with fire, because, you know, Hashut loves fire. Flame belchers, no explanation needed. Close quarters infantry, so with a hybrid attack, right here. So yeah, close quarter infantry, high stats in general, pretty good melee damage. So it's like combine a blunderbuss with an infernal iron sword, and then you get these guys right here. Then we got basically fire glaives, though not fire glaives really. Like formation attack. I don't know if formation attack is worth it. Generally, I've had problems with regards to cafe. Ammo has been dismissed. So yeah, the infantry is pretty good in a lot of different ways. Oh, we got some Skaven hiding in the forest. Let's turn these guys around. But yeah, we'll not use formation attacks with regards to these guys. Well, that ain't the Farglaive. That's basically a grenade launcher on this thing. Yeah. So it's all pretty fun, pretty great, really fun to use, really nice explosions available all around. And hey, if we allow people to fire, we can just nuke Stretch maybe again. But you gotta be aware, cognizant of the glass cannon nature of it, because like, if an enemy closes the gap, it's gonna be over very, very quickly in this kind of situation. Okay, so that's what units you get. It's a lot of them, regiments, renown units, but how do you acquire these in a campaign? Let's take a look at it. So on the campaign map, the way this is implemented is in terms of regular military buildings, though you can only do so in a provincial capital, but in terms of regular military buildings, you do get the Dark Arsenal of Hashut building chain. Takes a long time to construct, costs a lot of armaments, and this is in a modded campaign, though, to be sure. The reduced costs are not going to show over here, but yeah, you do need extra building slots to construct this. And then in advanced military buildings, you do have free extra advanced military buildings. So most of the extra infantry will be gained through the Dark Arsenal of Hashut. The tanks will be gained from the Greater Iron Gran Forge. The artillery and iron engines, most of the iron engines. Like basically here you have tanks and the iron demons with gunners. And then the iron engines, the artillery, all the artillery units will be gained from the Grand Iron Demon Foundry. And then the Infernal Siege Works produces weapon teams. There's also other benefits here, like campaign movement range, armament output in a region, ammunition in a region, global recruitment duration -4 turn for all units and armies in region. So you can potentially take advantage of that situation if you're recruiting quite a few of these units, but you will need those building slots. I'd recommend getting an extended building slots mod if you're going to use this mod. In terms of the Hellforge and the manufactory, these units are added to missile infantry and war machines, even if they're not showing up over here in war machines, but it is missile infantry and war machines, and I can even show that they are being affected by this because you can see the armament benefit, the armament upkeep over here for these units, including regiments renown. So it does integrate pretty well. And in the Hellforge, in terms of unit caps, you start with one unit cap, so you got your Chaos Dwarf gunners, Infernal gunners, weapon teams, Elite Guard, Zargrons, and artillery and unit train. So the iron engines and the iron demons are in artillery and unit trains over there. The Zargron, the tanks, all of the tanks are over there, and they and the way they work, is that even though they show up in this different tab, they're not part of the War Machines tab. They are affected by those War Machine upgrades because you don't have any extra benefit, any extra tab in the manufactory to buff them up. So that's how it works. That's how it's implemented. I think the implementation is pretty solid. Though, if you're playing Chaos Dwarves by default, by the time you can get these units, your campaign will long be over. But that's an inherent issue in Chaos Dwarf campaigns, in that a lot of the cool stuff is very, very limited until later on in the campaign. So you either cheese the early game to get access to it, or you use campaign customization mods like I've done over here in order to get access to them. Certainly makes for a very, very different playstyle in a campaign when you're playing with these guys. Not sure. Oh, so the extra mounts for the Infernal Castellans, they're available only if you get Hellforge bolts. I usually get Infernal Slugs because I want the Flash Bomb. Reducing melee defense by 24 is a pretty big deal. But hey, you could you could get artillery master if you want to, or you could get a laser cannon if you want to over there. So it might be worth it if you want to down that specific path. But yeah, Infernal Castellans won't have it unless you go down that path. And Demon Smiths, if we look at Demon Smiths, they do have the Zargron over here as a mount option that you spend the skill on if you want to. It's not acquired automatically. Legendary Lords, I don't believe any of them have any of these mount options. Might be cool to have, you know, Drazza for Satan on a tank, potentially. But yeah, Lords don't gain the extra. Well, okay, so the Sorcerer Prophets do gain the Grand Mount if you want to, but not if we're looking at the Overseer. So the Overseers gain nothing in terms of an extra mount option. Right there. That's all I had to say. Christine here is signing out. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and enable notifications, and stay tuned for more.